Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the madness. Wherever you are in the world today, it's go time. You guys will have to let me know what the audio's my mic instead of my headphones today. So we'll see. Hopefully it sounds okay. What are we working on today? Today we're actually going back to our Demon General. Started working on her a little while ago. I'm just kind of mixing it up a little bit. Yeah, so all this where. So this is from a concept from Bjorn Heery. And I am working on this for a collectibles day. Sounds good. Good. Excellent. Thanks, Dean. So this is the concept. So yeah. So I actually started this quite a while ago in a more game centric pipeline. But I was like, I do so much game work that it's kind of, I'd rather do something with a cool pose and actually get this printed out and then paint it. So that's kind of a little bit more of what we're doing nowadays with Clinker Built Studio. So we're gonna head back and work on the Demon General for a little while. So there's lots of fun, amazing, cool, sick detail capture. So, what I have been doing is just trying to get kind of an overall pose, and I think I'm fairly happy with where it's at the moment. So I'm just going to start kind of putting all of the pieces back together, and then once all the pieces are in, everything looks good and solid from a pose and content place, then we'll start getting into all the details. Okay. Sound is good. Good. All right. This over here. All right. So we need to work on her right arm a little bit, and then get all of the pieces kind of back in place to try to do. And then we got to fix some things like this massive clipping back here, all those. Okay, let's see what else we have. That one need. I don't think that. Eyes good. This guy. What's everybody else doing? You're doing good today. That. Owl. This piece. Yeah, this piece was a little side strap that went in. I'm not sure we actually even need that piece anymore, but we'll see. It just kind of hung out here, and I think it was a strap that connected that piece. We'll see if that design piece gonna do though is, let's leave that other one there. This one was to just kind of get something that connected. Just another design piece. Maybe able to. I dread to even think about how long this would took to bring concept to final product. Yeah, I think the initial one actually, because it's only still technically in blockout phase. I think I maybe was like 20 or 30 hours into it from where I'm at now. Okay. Actually, you know what? Maybe I could pull up the game version. Do that one. We'll show you where it was at before I moved it over to the posed. Yeah, yeah, there'll definitely be a lot more micro detail. Yeah, so this is where she was at in the game res version. It was still pretty much in blockout. But this, yeah, here's the extra little one. I might actually bring that back. That looks kind of cool. But this will use as a reference for making sure everything's sitting correctly. But you see, it's just kind of, the design is really awesome, but the pose is just meh. Feels. Yeah, there will definitely be a lot more. Here's we'll get into kind of all of this detail once we get all the shapes and everything lined up, and we'll get back into these little rings and all that fun jazz. Then we'll get into some details down here. We still get to get into the details of that. This is it's a concept from Bjorn Huri, the really awesome concept artist. So this is a demon general from his book Abominations. So I'm gonna have to try to fit these little. She's got these like little thingamajiggers here. It's kind of like this hip armor. I gotta try to find a good way to kind of incorporate that into the pose here without it like looking funky monkey, you know, in the pose. It looks really cool when she's kind of in that pose, in the standing pose, but I have to figure out what it means when she. Here's that piece. So I got to figure out what that looks like when she's kind of posing. Like, does it come up? Does it like do something else? I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do is just actually it's probably a good thing to work on right now. So let's do that actually. We're gonna split the out. Let's do split hidden, and we'll just do them independently. That one will turn off. This one will turn off. Let's work on this one now. Okay, so I feel if we get this one rocking, we can do something similar on the other. So this is supposed to kind of live right on the hip like that. See what that's going to look like. Now it does go over the little strap thingamajigs. Like a queen? Yeah, or a general. She's more of a general. This kind of be up and over that piece. See if we can get shape here. Which is actually kind of cool. From this side, it kind of cuts those, the design of these ones here. Pretty cool. Just got to make sure that, let's put these guys and these guys on the same layer here. Throw that all the way down to the bottom. And then we got this guy, that guy, and that guy. This is dynamic. What does it look like? So what we're going to do is just going to merge those down. Those down, that's fine. All right, now we can move these guys as one. These guys could live here a little bit. That feels a little. This guy, he's gonna kind of weird because he's got to figure out how it's gonna flow over the leg or interact with the leg over this guy. Can you guys still hear me okay? Yeah. Like the mic's working still. Okay, good. All right, so let's, oops, not dynamic. Do merge down. Cool. And then we can get this one, this guy live outside. Yeah, so here's, I've been trying for a couple of days now, but can't get it. But how do you make your buttons look like that? The interface buttons? I think you're talking about the. Okay, so we're looking at this. Yours look flat. You may want to look at, I think it's under preferences, interface. Oh, I don't remember where it's at. But what you could do is buttons. It's somewhere in here, I think. Buttons. The other thing that you could do, is just scroll through your this one up here and just go to your one that has that type of buttons, but you'd have to kind of just rebuild your UI that way though. Or just Google it. Because I don't know. These were like the default look feel. But I know that there's a way to change that somewhere. I think it's It's in preferences in here somewhere. Custom UI picker, something like that. Draw. Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Sorry, I don't know it off right off the bat. Amazing character. Thanks, Eugene. This is a concept from Bjorn Huri, who is an awesome concept artist. This is from his book Abominations. When in doubt, Google's. Dude, I use it all the time. Google is like, I was like, I've been streaming for how many years? I'm like, how do I change the title again to the stream? I just had to Google it just before I went live today. But anyways, so this little hangy bit here lives behind these guys. So I got to figure out how this is gonna live. And it looks like it also lives behind. Well, it could live in front of this one, but it has to live behind this one. Google is. Okay, so we got to try to figure out what this thing is gonna, what it's gonna do. All right, so I can get some really cool, like, hangy action in here, right? Your standard brush is purple because you have Sculptris Pro enabled. Like if I have this and I turn on Sculptris Pro, it goes purple. That's what that means. Turn off Sculptris Pro. I think the looks like backslash is the shortcut for it. Okay, so let's see if we can get this other piece looking cool first, and then we can figure out why what these layers are doing. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is this is probably going to live closer on the leg. Maybe something like this. Right? And I think because she's not actually functional, we could cheat this a little bit. Because this is for a sculptable, collectible statue. So we have a little bit of freedom to see if we can make the shapes correct. But something like that. Something like that. Okay, so I think that this thing can live in front of this, which is cool because you get a little bit of a layer effect there. But this one, got a little bit of a curve in it. Pull that back just a minute. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's split these up because we're going to don't need these. All right, so let's get rid of that guy. We'll do split hidden. Split hidden. Okay, so let's do this one first. Then let's turn these. All right, so let's get this one feeling good. How you feeling? What? How you feeling? What? Okay. So the question is, where are these attached? It looks like Looks like they're attached behind this. Or maybe we could say that they're attached to the cloth. What would make more? It would actually make more sense if it was attached to the side of this. Yep. Okay, so we see we can do that, which means that if this one was up there, that these ones would be attached here. Maybe what we can do is kind of see what this looks like if we just kind of pull it around. So I think it'd be cool to have it curve around the leg like it's interacting with it. Now, like frequency of detail and the size of the detail makes a big difference in what you're planning to print this at. So my plan is for this one to be about probably 12 inches, something like that. So the amount of small detail I should be able to get in the print should be pretty small. I mean, considering how much detail you can get in. Let's see if this actually comes across. Like, I mean, this guy is like only like he's probably about 6 or 7 inches, and the amount of detail on this mind-boggling. So we can get a lot of great small detail on this bigger skull. I don't mind doing small little detail stuff. All right. That's why we need to get this guy first. Maybe we can get him a little bit there. Let's get this back down to that skin so that we can fit the piece over it. One of the things that I do quite a bit in this blockout phase is like all the cloth and stuff. I use dynamic subdivision with thickness in it, so that I can move it around quite a bit without it kind of collapsing the thickness of it. So if you see, it's literally just a flat plane. So I use subdivision, dynamic subdivision with a little bit of thickness. That way I can move however I want to, and then the consistency of the sides stay there. Very helpful in this blockout phase. This needs to come. Okay. This, we may need to cheat this right here. So if we take cheat it this way a little bit, just so that it wraps around that side. That should be okay. And then we can pinch this one underneath. Have it interact a little bit more. And this is where like it's super helpful to have this just as a regular plane. All right, because then we could just come in here. Just do like this nice smooth. You can even do a cut off the corners here real quick, and then we'll do a polish by groups. And this helps. That is in deformation. Deformation. So I think the front is working okay. It's close. I think a little bit more refinement in there. But what's going to be really cool is when we're able to kind of drape the other rope across the thigh there too. We'll get this kind of cool interaction. This can come back. But come forward. And you see that this one here also is just a plane. Super duper helpful. And then I just have that, I have wireframe and I have dynamic subdivision tied to, so Shift D. What's up, mini chicks? How you doing? How's life? But I have dynamic subdivision turned on to Shift D for me, so I can really quickly just fix some of that low res stuff if I need to. Okay, so that's all right. Okay, so let's fix the back of this again. So let's turn the subdivision back on. I think we'll have like this really cool little pinch in here that we can do some fold logic on. This one will go right to there. All right, so now we have this really cool opportunity to do some. Yes, this one is for print. Probably about maybe 8 to 12 inches. Kind of like this guy right there. That's a Black Panther, but he's probably about big. That's the goal. And then the overall goal is to print it in resin and paint it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm pretty happy with this one so far. It helps to have a super dope concept. So anybody who's new over the last couple of minutes, this is the sculpt or the concept from Bjorn Heery. Super dope. Demon General. 1/6 scale. Yeah, I guess you could. I'm not good at which one is which kind of. I guess if you're 6 foot tall, you're 1 foot. That would be one. That's math, right? That's math. Yeah, 1/6 or 1/8, something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But I have a Saturn II resin printer that I'm going to printer on. And then actually, Bjorn and I are talking about putting the STL up for sale, so that if you too would like to print her out for your own collection, you can do that. That's actually the goal. It's a very fun collaboration project between my buddy Bjorn and I. Oh, I love the Saturn II. It's an absolutely amazing machine. Phenomenal. It's a workhorse, and it's super solid, easy to use. I think maybe this thing could curl around a little bit more. Again, we're kind of just cheating this shape just a little bit, as long as it's convincing to match the shape of this one, but it really needs to look good kind of on at this pose. Yeah, I can actually pull that out just a little bit. Then what I can do is just mask that off. See if we can just get, oops. We just get a nice subtle curve in there. Down a little bit. But yeah, the Saturn II is actually my first resin printer. I'm very, very happy with it. All right. I mean, that looks like it's. You know what? You know what might be cool is if the point actually bowed forward a little bit. So like we got this curve here, but this part just kind of like did this little cheat forward like that. Might get some really cool reflections on it. So let's see if we can do that. That looks like. Try it. What the hell, right? What the hell, Bobby? Just. I also do lock camera is really, really helpful for a keyboard shortcut, because like in situations like this where you're trying to just grab something and you're like, oh, just want a thing. If you lock your camera, then you can just grab it wherever. Fantastic. Super helpful. Unlock the camera. All right, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. We've got this kind of like outer curve here, and then it kind of like bows forward. That feels kind of cool. Get this little shadow down there. So let's see if that works on this. Ask that. Do a little blendy blend. Reposition that. That guy out. Clear it, and then that's gonna. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do some cool like little etching and stuff on these for the tertiary detail. That way, when you'll get the light kind of reflected off of there. Interesting way. Yeah. Okay. All right. Not kind of amazed by this piece yet, but I think it's not entirely terrible at the moment. We'll see. It does have you'll see that like a lot of these pieces have kind of this orange background padding stuff behind it, and it looks like these ones do too. So once I kind of get those in place, we'll do a similar thing to these ones to see how that looks. Is there a part 1 to this particular character? There is when I first started working on this one, kind of back in the day, I was working on it in a game res, like pipeline. I did all of this on the Pixelogic channel. So if you want to, you can go back to ZBrushLive.com and go to my page, Brendon Isaiah Bengtson, and all of those past streams will actually, you can actually pick it up from the beginning, do it from here. If you would like to, I don't think I streamed the pose on this one. I may have on my personal channel. No, because I didn't put the video up because I was listening to music. No, so there's a jump between where this one was and where I'm at now. That one was not recorded. And looking awesome. Thank you very much. All right, so let's play with that orange background real quick just to see how that's feeling. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this guy, make sure the shapes are halfway decent. Yeah, no problem, Alex. No problem. Do what I can. Okay, so this one also is just a plane, right? So what I can do is let's duplicate this one. Turn that back up. And we'll go back down to this one, and we're going to do, because the dynamic was already on when I duplicated it, if I just duplicate it, turn the dynamic back on, it'll be kind of in the same spot. So what I can do is just put this centralized like this, and then we'll just do a little scale in that. All right, so that will put it just on the inside. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a quick scale this way. See if I can get it to creep. Nah, that's not really gonna work, is it? That's okay, I can do it by hand. Or we can do, I think maybe this is what I did last time. We'll see if this actually works. Go to deformation, and we'll just do inflate balloon by 1. Why did it go smaller? -1. Oh, it's not happy. There we go. All right, we're just gonna do it by hand. When it doesn't work automatically, just do it by hand. That is sculpt. Thanks, man. Have you done all the props and sculpt in a pose you showed earlier, and then transpose master? Yeah, for the most part. For the most part, yes. I could have done them fairly easily in the pose, but It was because I was working in a different pipeline and decided to move to a different pipeline. But if I was to start this from the beginning again, I probably would do something similar, honestly. I would probably do most of the sculpting of the pieces in A pose so that I can use symmetry where I need to, so I don't have to sculpt things twice. And then do a pose like this, and then just reposition a bunch of stuff. Because doing this on a posed one is pretty tough. There's a lot that goes in. A lot of pain. So I'd probably do as much of the like blockout as possible in A pose, and then once you feel good about that, then like you take the body, the base body, and you do a pose just with the base body, without all the stuff. Get the pose feeling good, and then take all of your stuff and reposition. Yeah, Transpose Master is usually what I would use. That's what I did for her. I took just this base body, duplicated it out, and then did Transpose Master. Yep. All right. So what we're going to do, we got this one, there's that one, and we're just going to grab the color. Go to my standard brush, RGB, and color that. So then what we'll do is we'll just use the move brush. We'll just move it out. See how that looks. Just do it nice and gentle so that it still kind of keeps the conformity there. Get it down. And then if I want to, I can just grab something like that. Do that a couple of times, and then I can just go kind of back and forth like that to do both sides here. Gotta fix it back there. Thanks, Ryder. Have a good night. Asta. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. So that's what that looks like. That's cool. Like that. Okay. That may work. We'll see. Let's let it save for a minute. Take a water break. Don't forget to save your project. All right, so let's pull that. Let's make sure that's off the hip there. Okay, go down to this one, which is this one. Pull this one off. Mask this off again to make sure that we're not grabbing the top there too. Flip that. I should have fixed all that back. All right, well, it did, yeah. We're just trying to see if that actually works. Okay, it's a small little piece. It'll work okay. All right, let's get back to this side real quick. This piece needs to come up. That, okay. People trying to ruin a good time. Okay. Just trying to make sure all these pieces fit. Sure that this kind of sitting on the skin there a little bit. This piece can come back in like that. May have to just refit this stuff. I'll probably do that off stream because to show the base body without the clothes on. And Twitch doesn't like that. Gotta be careful. Really, it's just about kind of making sure all the stuff fits and makes sense. I think this should probably live on the inside of that thing. There's that. Beneath. Yeah, all this stuff back here, I gotta fit. What you can do for these, because it's on dynamic, when you're not worried about showing nudity, you can just hide everything else and then use project. Right, so like if you have this piece and you just want to project it back to the skin, you can do it that way. Another nice reason to have it as using the dynamic. Okay. I'm going to try to see if piece. Pull. All of this needs to be adjusted. So let's grab the mask. Pull that up just a little bit. Grab this one. Pull that one up just this one. This one. Got this piece back here, so pull that one. This piece. So we do have looking at this one right here. We've got these ones, these three that come around from the back side. We've got these ones that hold this piece to here. So we've got two major pieces that come like this, and we probably have a similar one or two in the back. Maybe what we can do is do one like this, and then kind of like a V pattern. So this one would come to like the tip, and then it would come back on the other side like that, and then we'll do one of these back side. So we can grab this guy and just lay that out real quick. That's that one. Actually, so let's get those guys placed better. Actually, what we do. So I want the regular move brush. Get these pushed out so they live on the outside. All of these. All of these. So the locations actually, so I do have a couple of rings. I think this is. Aha! Okay. So we've got one. Like they live right about here. But just on. So one lives here, and then two live right here. See if we have that right. So one lives on this corner, and then two live on this piece. That's actually about, that's pretty close. Okay, which means that we need to take these guys. If we can just inch them ever so gently. I probably will end up remodeling these. So I'm not too worried about getting it all messed up. Because you see how it's not very consistent. Gross. For now, it'll work for blockout. Bend that ever. Okay. We can just cut the end off there too. Let's do that. Go. Ghosting is the other one, another one that I have on speed dial, which is Shift V. So V is single, and then Shift V is solo, and Shift V is ghosting. Ghosting is in transform, ghost, transparent. All right, so ghosting, and transparent is Shift V. So if you turn ghosting on as well, if you don't have ghosting on, then it kind of looks like this. Ghosting like that. That way you can like just grab stuff beneath, or you can use it to just say, oh, you know what? Let's just cut it off right there. Yeah, poses I think is the hardest. Getting a good pose. Because really it's so multi-dimensional for the pose, right? Like it's got to exude the characteristic of what the character is and does. But then it's also has to look dynamic from all angles. I feel like this one's fairly successful, but things may change. See what my art director Bjorn says. Okay, so this piece is, you know what? Let me make sure that the rings are correct first. So let's make sure that, oops, not that one, this one. So let's just mask that one. Put that at the center of unmasked. Thank you. I try to actually, when I'm posing the hands, I actually try to pose the wrist first, like this and this part first, and then add the fingers in, because like you get a lot of characteristic with, even with, if you just have a fist or something and you do this kind of thing, like depending on what your arm is, you get a lot of characteristic just doing that. And then once you have kind of this interaction down, then you add in the fingers, right? Because it becomes really complicated if you're doing everything at the same time. But if you just break it down to pose the wrist first and then do the fingers, it becomes much easier. And that's why like this film feels fairly strong pose wise, even without the fingers. I still have a lot to do back here. The anatomy's all jacked up, and I'm not quite sure that I like how the wrist is with the sword. I feel like it feels kind of like limp wrist, you know, which is not what she exudes as a powerful demon general. So that one may change. But I do like her left hand. The left hand will probably stay, but the right hand, I got some playing to do. As you said that, yeah. Okay, let's get this ring right place. Right, let's put that on there. Give it a little rotation. That. Okay, and then let's actually get that little fastener in there. I think this little thing in here. Oh, actually, this one lives behind it. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so it's just a circle with a little like plug on it, a little hoop. But this one just kind of lives behind it, so maybe it's got another loop or something back there. Good to know. So let's actually put that in the correct place first. So let's put it there, which means it needs to kind of come out this way a little bit. Actually, maybe just a touch bigger. But Nightbot's going crazy today. Lives on there. So making sure that there's no kind of weird tangent. See how here, like, this point interacts with this. So I want to make sure that the elements of the design are not in weird tangents. Okay, so this one comes down like that and it's going to connect here. Means it's going to kind of come back a little bit, I think is okay. Ultimately, what's going to happen is you get ready for print, like all this stuff in here will be filled in. So I want to make sure that the design looks good first. the overall function feels good, and then I'll work on like the actual print problems. Not that, I want that. And then we'll just hide that. Do delete hidden. We'll see what. Okay, that's that one. And then let's make these little pluggy doodads, pluggy doodad holders, little guys. Should be fairly easy. So let's just grab a cylinder first. Cylinder. Perspective off. Here, so we can work on it. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to go into our ZModeler brush, and don't need all these. Okay, that's fine. And then we're just going to grab that. That. Down that. This needs to be a little bit. Before we do that, let's add one down here. That way we can kind of keep it consistent there towards the end. Okay. That. All right, now we can have this little. So that goes like that. And maybe what we'll do is, yeah, we'll just leave it like that. It's gonna be a smaller piece. So actually, you know what? Let's just make it cool. Then we'll work around. So add that in there. We'll do QMesh poly loop. And we'll just do that like that. Cool. Good. And then we're gonna grab a do this. We're gonna grab the Ring 3D. All right, so this is a whole nother tool that I'm in. It is not a polymesh 3D, so that when I go down to initialize, I can actually change the nature of it here. I want the ring to be a little bit thicker like that. And then we'll do make polymesh 3D, go back to my project or my tool, that, and then we have Wild Breeze. Did you sculpt first as an A pose or pose directly? I sculpted actually most of it in A pose, and then once I was happy with the overall, well, it was kind of complicated for this one because I changed the overall style kind of halfway through. But if I was to do it again, I would probably actually do it the same way. So I did this one. So I did most of it in a pose like this. I just blocked out like most of the actual shapes. And then once that was good, I took the base body by itself and then posed it, and then just kind of merged all the other stuff over. If I was going to do it again, I probably would actually do it very similar. So this thing is going to live that. So this is the idea, right? This thing right here is this thing. Right, and then that little ring mamma jamma will go through that thing. Sounds good. But yeah, so but initially with this project, I was working on it for video game pipeline. So that's why I was really doing a lot of the APOS stuff for video game pipeline. But then I decided, you know what? I really want to do something with the pose, make it look awesome. Because this thing will never get rigged and animated. So I was like, you know what? I think for me it's going to be better as a posed statue figure. Okay, so now I have this piece, and thank you very much. That means a lot. I actually don't get a chance to do many poses these days, so that means the world. Thank you. So let's merge down. Got those. All right, so now I have my piece. Let's leave that as it is right now. We'll duplicate it, and then we'll take this. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? Oh, what? We're gonna do this. We're gonna make an insert brush. Oops, not tab. We're going to make an insert brush. So we go down to brush, we do create insert mesh, new. All right, and then now I have this as a brush. Then I can say, okay, on this one, actually, I'm gonna grab something else that doesn't have subdivision or dynamic subdivision, and then I'm just gonna go. Yeah. So now that it's in context, the distance between this lip and this lip is too far. So I'm gonna go back. Going back to this one. And then I'm going to make a separate version of it where the distance from here to here is smaller. So I can do that really, really, really easily with QMesh. So I go QMesh poly loop. And then when I do this, I'm actually going to hold shift, and it's just going to take that loop and make it smaller. Something like that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go create insert mesh again, and then I'm going to I'm going to go back to my insert mesh brush, create insert mesh, and append it. And now this brush has two different versions. So I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to hit undo. Now the reason why I'm doing it on this subtool and not this subtool is because this subtool has dynamic subdivision on it. And I don't want to have dynamic subdivision applied to that thing that I'm inserting. So you can actually put it on pretty much any subtool. So I just grab a random subtool so this one doesn't have dynamic subdivisions, right? So it's just part of that one, but I can place this thing wherever I want. And this is just part of that subtool. And what I can do is just do split unmask points. And now it's its own thing. Ooh. All right, now I can kind of come in here. place this down however I need to. So it could be that maybe it's too tall as well. Like the distance from here to here is too tall. So let's make one more edit on this thing. And then I can use a couple things. I can poly loop this side and push it in, but then that would create a difference in distance here. But I'll just use my mask and move. Move tool. There, bro. Be up there. All right, so now I can pull this that way, and that's just it's not so sitting so far off of that surface. Then maybe what I'll do is let's clear the mask. I feel like this thing is just a little bit too big. So let's, with the move tool, we'll just do control click. Sorry. Control click, and that will, because this is a different poly group than this one, it'll mask everything that's not this poly group. So I can just do that real quick. Did not. Anyway, so maybe we'll just make that just a smidgen smaller, and that. Okay, so then make a third version of this guy. So we'll do, make sure it's selected, radiance or mesh, and third version. Easy peasy. So this one, let's just delete. Make sure there's nothing else there. Okay, cool. We'll just that guy. All right, now we're back to this one. Can come in. They did. Got a small one in there. What the hell, Bobby? Okay. The other thing I can do too is if I want it a very specific size, I can put my brush size to whatever that size I want, and then when I'm dragging out, I can just do doing that. Oh, you're messing up a little bit there, buddy. Anyways, so when you're doing, here we go. If you hold down control, it'll snap to your brush size. And then you can change the direction however you're feeling. That. Ooh, ZBrush is messing up right now. Let's see this real quick. Bad feeling. Okay. So let's grab, hold down control. That. Okay. And then we'll do split unmasked points. The mesh is partially. Oh, got a little one in there. All right, so let's do delete hidden, split unmask point. There we go. Ugh. Okay. So now let's just get this guy to a good position. Now, looking at the here, it's way too close to this one, so I'm going to try to put him back here. Just a little bit smaller there. Yeah, it's okay. All right, so then this dude. Mask the other ones. Let's do go to center of masked. Get this one. That. Ha. Okay. Now we can pose this one fairly well. So this one we need kind of rotated down like that, and then that. Cool. That. There we go. And then let's actually grab this one and fill that with. Only need Dynamesh on that. Standard RGB fill. Cool. There we go. Now what I can do is, because I have this one, and it is all the same polygroup, I can use my move tool and then just do Control Alt, click and drag, and that'll make it duplicate. Same size, everything. Okay, this one is gonna live somewhere like here, somewhere like kind of in this corner here. Okay, let's see if we can get in there and get it to be sitting on. Okay, something like that. Sure. So it does have a bit of a curve in the mesh that it's sitting on, so I'll have to resolve that a little bit. Maybe we'll just down like that. Okay. All right, so grab this one. There. Mask that one off. Go to center of masked. Down there. That. Sitting there. What's up, Voxel? What you doing? Okay, then this will probably be a little bit like that. Put that down there. Okay, let's stand back and see what that looks like. There we go. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I tried to do when I'm doing this is I try to move my lights around quite a bit to make sure that like a lot of the volumes are kind of being represented fairly well. All right, I like this one up here because it puts all this down here in shadow and this, and it really gives this nice highlight up here, and it catches some of the light down here. So I try to make sure that before I finalize a lot of my shapes, that I'm getting this light playing off of the different shapes quite a bit, as much as possible. Really cool. Okay. All right, continue with the ropes. Now, this one is actually supposed to be up here, and this one is supposed to be up here. So what we're going to do is, can we do auto group? I think there's 2 groups in each one of those. Nope, no. All right, so we're gonna grab that guy. Oops. So it's gonna mask that one. Right, so now, just moving that guy. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this here, reorientate there. Then I'm going to see if I can get this one to move up there. Something. Oh, there you go. That worked. Nice. Okay. Then we'll just use our move. And again, these are all kind of messed up, so I'm gonna end up redoing them during the final rows. And then what I can do is just cut this one off there. Do delete it. Okay, so that's that one. I can probably refine this shape just a little bit. Can kind of come in. There we go. Then we'll do the same thing with this bottom one. Okay, so we'll grab that one. Okay, yep, that's the right one. Okay. See if we can get this one. This one's might be a little bit more tough. Actually, that's pretty close. That was actually not that bad. Nice. We get this one to there. Actually, save. What time is it? Oh, been an hour and a half already. It was a quick hour and a half. Would you recommend sculpt all the way through and then Dynamesh or retopo, add subdivisions, go from there? I think it really depends on what you're working. If you're working on something where you need flexibility in the overall shape, then stick with Dynamesh until you don't need to like mess with the overall shape of things first. And then once you're done and want to do more details, then you can duplicate, zero mesh, subdivide, reproject. Fun to watch, interesting, great narrative. Thanks, Mike. I try to make it I try to give as much of what the decisions that are happening in my brain at the time as I can. That's really the difference between watching a tutorial and watching somebody actually figure things out live. And that's really why I do a lot of live work, is so that people can kind of understand the decision processes and problem solving like as you're going, as possible. It really, really helps. It's something that you don't quite get a lot with tutorials. When something messes up or something breaks, or you're like, oh shit, why isn't this thing working? Oh crap. Oops, not that. Oh yeah, what I was gonna do is I was gonna rotate this one down just a little bit. Just a little. There we go. So at least it's kind of going in this direction, so there's not this like weird kink feeling. Which I think that's okay. Let's go back to this one. Before we do that, let's make sure that the shape is correct. But it does take a little bit more time investment from viewers, so that I think there's still a place in the world for both live work and for tutorial work. What's really cool now is that now that these ropes are kind of in place, we can get them interacting with each other. So I can take this guy and like, you know, do this nice kind of interactive shapes. Kind of comes out here like that. Then this pulls kind of in, does this little weird pinchy thingy. Pinchy poo, what the hell? Alright, and we kind of get this cool kind of interaction happening. Now we got to refine it and make it look good, but you get the idea. Now we have to, if that's going to do that, all of this is going to change down here. Let's call this. That's going to actually pull it this way. Come back down like that. Either way, I have to make sure that this still looks good down here. We can turn off dynamic, and then we need to clean up some of these shapes. We can really quickly just go in and do kind of the alt smooth, which is hold down shift, start smoothing, and then while you're smoothing, lift off of shift, and that will, what that will do is we'll try to keep the overall shape, the overall three-dimensional form, but it will just start cleaning up the relationships between each vertice, right? But it keeps the overall shape. Maybe we can actually push this a little bit more. Let's say maybe this actually billows out a bit. All right, it kind of comes like this, billows out, and as it pinches there, and then from there, instead of billowing there, you can actually just go straight down. So maybe we'll just take this part. That. Oops. Flip that. Give it 1. Maybe this actually kind of rotates back like that. Then comes. Now this bump here doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Let's try to make that make a little more sense. Should be more flat. Because as it gets pinched, it's just gonna, from there it's just gonna pretty much be up to gravity. Let's come back. I'm mumbling quite a bit. You'll have to excuse me. Mumbled. It's a mumble day. Okay, we'll work on that. But you get the idea. Okay, so let's get this guy back into shape here. Go to our move. Pull this out just a little bit. This is all going to live side of those things. This rope will probably have to be a bit thicker in the in its final print form. I think this has too many. It should just come out like this. Instead of it having this 2-dimension, right? It has 1 curve, 2 curves, 3 curves. Instead, if we just do kind of 1 curve, right, where it's just do like that now, it feels like it would do better. Probably not so much. More of a subtle curve. Maybe not even a curve. Maybe this falls straight like this, and then it should be, maybe the weight of this is pulling here. That feels a little. You'd rather me talk things through and mumble a little than awkward silence in general, so yeah. Well, that's really kind of opening up the brain case and having you guys see what my decision processes are. Why, you know? Because actually, most like design decisions are either subconscious or like happening inside your brain that you're not like. It's hard to vocalize why you make those decisions. So I think it's really helpful to be able to do that. Like I really, that's what interests me most in watching artists, is to kind of get like, why are you making the micro decisions that you're making? Like, especially in design, you know, you're like, well, why did you move that curve? You know, why did you put this thing here? Right? It's really hard to vocalize that actually as you're working too. So you have to work with me. So what I'm seeing here is it still doesn't feel quite right. It feels like it's kind of floaty in there, and then these elements of this curve here are just kind of a bit gross. So let's go back. See what this looks like before we did all that. Sometimes you can go too far down a rabbit hole and it just doesn't feel good anymore, right? So like, I feel like if we just go back, let's just go back, move that, and then what the hell? So maybe what we can do is we'll do a balance between this thing coming out and this thing getting pushed in, right? So if if we take this, say from here, let's just take this whole thing and start pushing it this way a little bit. I want to keep some of the negative space that I have in here. So I think one of the important pieces of this is being able to show this negative space. So I want to be able to try to retain that, right? Because if you kind of do this, then things just kind of get lost in there. I think it's really powerful to make sure you keep that negative space in there. So maybe we'll try to keep as much of that as possible. Maybe we can actually cheat it this way a little bit. Maybe this bend is not really needed much, right? Because then we can retain some of that. But then we come in here and say, well, what happens if we just kind of cheat this in just a little bit? Maybe we can actually take it and like pull it back like that. Right, so then we have a little bit happening there, right? So we're retaining this line, we're retaining this line, and we're pretty much from the front, we're retaining this whole line, but it's once you start kind of turning it this way, that's when you start seeing the curve. I think that's really cool when you have like complex shapes like that, where from one angle it's one experience, right? It's one design element, but as you turn it, it turns into another design element, right? Which is like, now it's no longer a straight line, it's a straight line with a curve with a straight line. All right, now maybe what we can do is take the rope and cheat it out just a little bit. Maybe that's just kind of hanging out. That. This. Does it go through? Through would be kind of weird. I think through would be weird. Like, how did you get it? How did you get it mixed up into that? Let's grab the kind of fix that. Flipping a little bit while we're here. Okay, now we'll work on this overall curve here just to make sure that it's, see, it's a kind of flat here, and then it does a turn and then flat again. Really want to make sure that this has kind of the gravity weight feel, which means that the apex of this curve will be at the bottom. That. And then this, right, this curve here wouldn't really be there. It would be a nice gentle curve from that gravity point all the way up. That. Right, now you have this one gentle curve and all the way down here, and it's graduating. It's a graduating curve, which means that the radius continually increases until it gets down to the apex of the gravity, then it pulls back up. Sorry for the cheek. Give her a little coverage here. I do have to work on that part quite a bit still, but at least wanted to make sure that got some stuff going on here. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that those same curve characteristics are echoed in the other ones. And all those little things really make a big difference in the overall presentation. So even though you're like, it's a curve, whatever, it's actually, your eyeball sees a lot. A lot more than you like actually realize. So making sure that you pay attention to all the little kind of gritty details like this to kind of like what is realistic and what is normal. It's really important. Now look at all this, it's all messed up. That's why I'm gonna have to do all that brush again or that rope again because I pushed it around so much. All right, so let's cut that piece off there. We'll do hidden. All right, and now let's see how that's feeling. That's feeling good. Starting to get this really nice kind of layer system happening. Okay, let's go back over here. And it does look like that. We're missing this piece. Go find that piece. This piece that's right here. Because actually these ones are supposed to be coming from here. Right? Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh. So this one is supposed to not be there. Oh no. Right, we got this one is here. We got these two, and then this one comes over here. So it looks like mine are rotated. This one is actually right here. Right. So let's do this. We got a fixie here. So this is dynamic. Let's turn dynamic off. We'll do auto groups, and then we'll do control click, right? And that's going to do this one first. Okay, so this one we are going to push over that way. Not scale, not scale, not scale, Brendon. Rotate. Okay, that one's going to go over there like that. This one is going to go over here like this. All right, all right. Nightbot. So persistent. That's going to come up there like that. This one will just duck back there. Kind of straighten out like that. Now, let's go and find... Okay, so this one is actually going to come this. All right, and then there's going to be this guy. Right, so it's going to come over. It actually feels like this piece is over too far to the right. Yep, look at that. Starting to make sense now. So let's grab this one. He's actually over here. That. Let's do this. Actually, before I move those ones, so let's duplicate this guy. Because what I want to do is I want to go back in time to where these guys were, but I also want to save where it's at. So if I just duplicate this one right now, save that as that one, go back to this one, and undo all of this. That. Now what I can do is I can take this whole thing and move it over. Which now makes more sense like that. I think that actually works better. Then you take this guy and pull it back here. Like so. Yeah, that feels better. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do then is adjust all of these guys. But let's grab that. Where's that circle first? Put the circle in. Yes, ZBrush rocks. Definitely. I think this one's it. Might be for back there. I don't know. We're going to use it though. Taking it. Doing it. So many loops and ropes. Okay, so now see what that looks like comparison. Okay, so it's actually sitting kind of in the corner, like right on this strap, more towards this the breast piece than the shoulder piece. Holy cow, did you hear that? Whoa, smooth. It's good. It's good. No, I don't need a chaser. I'm okay. Sometimes you just gotta entertain yourself when you're streaming, right? It's good. It's good. What year is that? And of course, we'll refine the edges and those types of things. But let's get this guy. Are different. Okay, that's good. Put on my move tool. Control click. Alt click. Get down like this. Okay, cool. Just kind of nudge this around a little bit. Now this, I think all this stuff was actually sitting on top like this. So it's supposed to like roll over and then through. Let's do that. That's gonna sit down there like that. This one's gonna go up. That. Okay, now these guys actually were here, I think. I think it's this one, right? They go there. Okay. So what we'll do is so much to do. There's so much. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's orientate the widget there, and then we can just go boop. Gotta make the noises, right? Okay, like that, and we'll just pull it out like that. Sure. Sounds good. Just more like that. Okay, and then we'll grab this one. I wanna... Okay, orientate it like that. Reach that one over there. Okay. Cool. Okay. Getting there. One of the things that's really bugging me right now is how far this little piece is hanging off from, like, you see all that, see that big old space right there? I gotta fix that. That's really bugging me. One thing at a time, though, Brendon. One thing at a time. Great success. Okay, cool. And then I think we can just use our move tool just to nudge it where we need to go. Nice nudges. Nudgelooski. Okay. Can we survive if we take freelance as doing sculpting toys and minis? Briefly talk about your journey coming into this. Did you start with doing ZBrush and doing minis, or you switch into this later? I actually, my career is in, I'm a character artist in the video game industry. So I've worked for Crystal Dynamics for almost 5 years now, doing right now I'm a lead character artist at Crystal Dynamics. So that's the majority of the work that I do. Most of the collectible stuff that I've been working on has been kind of a personal interest, stuff that I want to do more of. In video game character design or production, you don't really get to see a lot of like movement until much further down the line, because you sculpt everything in A pose and it's all production based and so on and so forth. So you don't really get a lot of like that expression in your work. So one of the things that really pushed me to start doing more collectible style work is because I like, from a personal side, I really want to have more expression art, right? And not just like this static A pose kind of thing. So that's really what pushed me towards more collectible stuff. And I love painting minis. So that's something that pushing towards, even though I already have a career in video character artist. So if you were starting and not working in the profession of character modeling, and you're interested in doing collectibles and minis and stuff, actually now is a great time because there's just such a huge push for minis right now. It's really with the boom of good 3D resin printers that really has pushed the mini industry incredibly well over the past like year or two or three. But every year it gets kind of more and more. Like you start seeing all these Patreons with amazing sculpts like every single month, and then you have all these Kickstarters and game found projects and stuff with just incredible minis. So there's a ton of work right now. But what I would do is to keep in mind that your art speaks for itself. If you have dope pieces of art, people will hire you. So I would, like, if you're early on in your career, I heavily encourage you to work on your eye for design and how you sculpt, and like just make super dope work. Then your work will actually get you work. One word of warning: pre-supported minis bag. Yes, that is true. That is very what I in terms of pre-supported minis, like I would right now. I'm subscribed to Bestiarum minis, Bestiarum Games. They do absolutely amazing work, and they do a lot of most of their pre-supported stuff is really good, and that's kind of, they have a certain quality threshold that they have. Not all of them are perfect, but I haven't really had many problems with them. But if you are working with minis that are relatively new to the industry or new to the field, then it's a little bit more precarious. But I think it can be hit or miss for sure, and it all depends. There's so many things that goes into a successful print versus a failed print. Anything from temperature of your resin to offset build plate to non the resin doesn't get cured enough for your build plate, or your lift speed is incorrect. Like there's so many things, so many. So it's sometimes it can be your supports, but there's probably just as many things that can go wrong besides your supports for resin printing. But back to the question, which is, can you make a living from it? Yeah, you can. As with most kind of visual arts, in kind of the realistic stuff, you know, the better your art, the more people will want to pay you to do it. So I always tell people work on the quality of your art, whether that's a realistic art or a stylized art or whatever style that you have. Just make it very appealing with good presentation, good shapes, good form language, all of the things that make up your content. And that all really comes from having a good sense of design. What is paying attention to silhouette, paying attention to shapes and compound shapes, rhythm of design elements, balance. There's some of the other things. All of those, the core art principle, frequency of detail, small, medium, and large shapes. All of those things are very important to make like an appealing piece of art. That's, you can do that, and then you put it out there and you make good, consistent work. Then the beautiful thing about being an artist is that your art does a lot of that work. You have to go and really like use your words to convince people to give you work. You put your art out there, people see it, and if it's good and it's awesome, the right people will see it and go, "Hey, I saw your thing, your piece of art that you did. I want you to make that stuff for me. Can you do that?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be about $75,000 an hour." Like, well, it's fine. Sure, yeah, I'll pay you that. That's all you want. Actually, that is actually time. So we were going to call it here. I think that's good. We did some good stuff. Really just kind of piecing all of this back together in the pose. I got a ton of work to do on the everything. There's still so much work to do, but it's fun. And the thing that I love about this medium, like doing statues and collectibles and that kind of stuff, is that this piece can last forever. Really, you know, when you build it and you put it out there, like, and you look back on your shelf of cool stuff, like that piece can live there forever. So there's really, for me, there's no big hurry as long as it's good. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm going to be doing more work on this on my personal Twitch channel, so if you'd like to, you can follow me on my personal channel. It's just Brendon Isaiah Bengtson. Let me spell that for you. I'll put it into the chat here. /Brendon Isaiah Bengtson. There you go. So if you'd like to follow me on my personal channel, I will be doing more of this there. You show the meshes? You mean the wireframe? So here's the whole thing as it stands now. And this is where we came from. Not in this stream, but over the lifespan of this particular character. Yeah, more to come. And take a look at actually, you know what? Let me put the concept artist name, Bjorn Fury. Take a look at Bjorn's stuff. Just do a quick Google for him. Can you show the meshes on my personal channel? Oh yeah, I mean we'll continue with this project on my personal channel. Some of it is Dynamesh. Some of it is like this one. This one here is just like if I took dynamic subdivision off, it's just a single plane. Like that, and then I would use dynamic subdivision, and that gives it its thickness. So that way I can kind of move it around, and it'll have a consistent thickness there. Most of the stuff on here is that way. So like, I think this one is this piece. Yeah. So like that was just a plane I took, and then I just Q meshed those pieces out, and then did a dynamic thickness on that one. So most of the stuff on here, actually minus the arm. Nope. Stop it. There you go. Is that way. This is all Dynamesh. So we'll do one more quick round here. I haven't done much in the back yet, so I'm just kind of focusing on the front first, and then we'll go back and the back side here. And then here is I'll give you the concept here one more. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much, everybody. What's my PC config? I actually have a older PC. I have a 1070 GPU, and I think I have. Well, I know I have an i9 88 or 8900 something or other. Grow beard. Back on dropped comes. Damn it, Dougie! This whole time, 2.5 hours or 2 hours, didn't have to think about bacon at all. I mean, right as we're wrapping up, you're like, "Hey, Brendon, bacon." All right. I will be back on the ZBrush Pixelogic channel, Maxon channel. I think I'm rocking like 32 megs of RAM, like that. I'm not up to 64, but 32 at least. Yeah, so I'll be back next month, probably mid-month, on the Pixelogic channel. But I'll probably be working on this on my personal channel, probably usually late nights for Pacific time. So if you're anywhere else in the world, it'll probably be daytime for you. But keep an eye out. Shoot me a follow on my personal channel, and you get notified. All right. Out. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. See you soon.